Hey guys, it's Jesse with Inclusion Car Club again, and today is finally the day that we start assembling the Honda's motor. Now, I've talked about it a few times. We had a video a while back before, and we had a video before this one about the disassembly and the carnage that we had before. If you guys watched the last video, you guys know that the car got hydrolocked, ended up blowing a piston from a car wash, and yeah, pretty much the rest is history at this point. So I've been waiting long enough. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take it to Track Shark. Everybody, including myself especially, of course, was pretty bummed out about that. That was kind of the whole reason, kind of the whole point. I've been trying to rush on this project to get it done, but that being said, it's over with now, and I just want to take my time with it, which is probably better, and just get it done. So, you guys can already see, I got my pistons in. These are some Wiseco pistons. They're custom cut, so they took a shelf part from a 4G63T piston. I had them do a custom deck height and bore size. So I did oversize this bore by 0.75 of a millimeter, or 30 over for your standard guys. So right now I'm going to be starting to assemble the pistons on the con rods, and then I'm going to be putting the piston rings also. And the guys from Wiseco, they hooked me up with some oversized wrist pins. So the stock wrist pins would probably be good to around 20-30. The heavy duty wrist pins, they got a thicker sidewall. I think it's like 0.866 of an inch, and I think those ones are rated up to about 40, 50 to 60 psi. Basically, this whole bottom end, to kind of go quickly over it, the whole bottom end is an H22A crank with I'm using Max and Speed rod. Con rods are actually sitting over there on top of the box. I'm going to be using Clevite bearings on the crank to the con rod, and I've heard a lot of good things about Max and Speed rod, and I'll tell you what, these things are really well made. They're pretty light compared to the original, to the OEM rods. So I feel like this combination right here would be pretty killer. I'm hoping at least 500 horsepower, which should be completely doable. I'm still going to be using the single overhead cam head. I might later switch out to an H22 head or an F22A head. You guys can let me know which one you guys think will be better. But with this setup right here, I think I'll be good to around 8,000 RPM, 500 horsepower. Depending, boost doesn't make the power, it's just whatever you can put in. So technically it's actually de-stroked because I'm still using the F22A or F22B2 rods, but I'm using the H22 crank. So technically this motor is actually a 2.1 liter now instead of a 2.2 liter, but they kind of fudged the numbers. It's actually a 2.15 liter motor originally, so it's only 50 cc less. But hopefully, even with the rod stroke ratio, people would think that'd be kind of bad, but since the stroke on the crank is actually less than the original crank, my rod stroke ratio is going to be about 1.56. H22A is 1.58, and the F22B2 rod stroke ratio is 1.48. So it's a lot better. I have no problem thinking that it's going to be revving up high just fine. Everything's balanced and clean, bored, and I just want to get this thing back together and start running it. So guys, it's been about half an hour because I've never put these circle clips on before. These little wire clips that you see in there. I know there's a lot of different styles that are much easier to put in, like spiral locks, circlips, or there's like twist locks or something too. But this is what they sent me, and I'll tell you what, those things are probably never gonna come apart. They are, I mean, tips of my fingers are pretty tough. But for those of you guys who have never put them in and want to have a little bit of okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. Hopefully I can get it first time on the camera, because if not, that'd be a little embarrassing, but we'll still make it look like I got it on the first try. So basically, I mean, these already come pre-lubed, but I'm still gonna put more lubrication just in the little wrist pin hole on the piston itself. Give it some extra lubrication. So usually what I'll do, I just open it up so we can get it out, but I'm just gonna set it back inside real quick. Take a little bit of your assembly lube. This stuff's a little bit old, but so it's just gonna drip everywhere, crazy, but it still worked pretty well. Just go in there, get it all nice and lubed up.
Hey, that's what she said.
I'm trying to stay as clean as possible. Like I said, guys, I'm not trying to rush it or nothing. So grab one of our little baggies. That's how they look. If you guys wonder what part number they are, just W5590. Go ahead and open these things up. Let's get one out. It's kind of weird. These things have kind of like this weird coating on it. And I think it's just to help them retain inside of them. It's almost like a rubbery, sticky, really sticky coating. But anyways, so what we're gonna do, now every single video that I looked at, I've been looking at videos on how if there's like an easier way. Maybe I was being stupid and I couldn't get it the first time around. So everybody says that you just put them in there and you drop them in. Now these, I don't know if that's just how normal ones are, but these ones right here are so tight that it was almost impossible for me to get it in. So everybody says either have them up or down, but what I've found is if I go kind of at an angle like this, I can kind of set both ends in there, kind of at an angle. I can kind of get that one side into that groove and hold it down. Oh, see, it popped out. Like I said, these things are really tough. But I mean, the first one's easy because you got all that space, so you can just kind of like drop it in there. Maybe take your screwdriver, maybe not. Well, the first one I think you can just put it up. Oh, so on this first one, you might be able to just do it without getting it stuck inside the deal again. I'll show you guys where I keep getting it stuck at. But the first ones, like I said, it's super tight, really tight, and it's got this lip right here, so it doesn't make it any easier. Honestly, it really doesn't even need to have that lip because it's not riding on that. I've seen some styles where it isn't riding on it. They put it right there. Guessing they're pushing it in like that. So you're holding it like that. One or another, if it wants to hold, stay in there, you fuck. There you go. Oh. So if it stays in there for a quick second, I can grab my screwdriver and just pop it on in there, just like that. Come on the other side. Okay guys, so after a lot of frustration with those wrist pin clips, finally got them all in. I gapped all the rings. I didn't show you guys that. It's kind of about it. It's a really easy process. You just set each ring into the bore, and then you take your feeler gauges and get them right in where you want them to be. So I didn't need to gap the oil rings. They're already pre-gapped. I do need to clock them before I set them in. But luckily, Waseco sent me a little dealio here to show where everything's supposed to be, so I can have it all lined up. And it also gives you, little details about how to install them, gives you about your gaps and what you should be looking for. Sorry, my hands are shaking. But I gapped them all. I didn't gap the oil rings, they're already pretty wide, so I didn't think to really mess with them too much. The second ring I have it gapped at 27.5. Yeah, 27.5. They're all the exact same, no problems with that. If you guys haven't noticed, I also numbered each piston. So every ring that went into each bore, I have it so it corresponds with the same piston. That way I don't have anything mixed up and everything can be the exact same. All the tolerance can be the same and I don't have any differences. Because the difference could be if one bore was slightly smaller than the other bore, then you have one where you have the possibility of the rings jamming together under high temperature and destroying the cylinder wall. Or you have the other side where one's getting so much blow by that it's not making any compression. So I got the second ring at 27.5, and then I got 0.0275, and then I got the first ring at about 0.018.5, which is at the higher end of what Honda recommends. I think it's about from 20 to 15 or 20 to 14 is what the gap should be. So I put it on the high end because I am wanting to run a lot more boost and a lot more power into this, so that just gives me more room for safety, which is also why I went kind of overkill with all the other parts. But yeah. Hey guys, so quick update. Dom just took off, so I'm handling the camera by myself. Just got all 4 pistons in, got them all torqued down, and it's pretty warm in here, so don't mind the bit of sweat. But I got them all down in here. It moves super smooth. I think it's gonna work perfect. Don't have to worry about the valves hitting anything. The valve pockets on the pistons are actually cut a lot deeper. So I think it's gonna work perfect. Not gonna have any issues with it. Like I said, I did have these made to a specific deal. So I don't know, I guess the rest to do might be just I don't know, get this thing together. Alright guys, so not going as quick as I thought it would have been. Keep thinking there's someone outside. But anyways, so this is where I got the motor at so far. Basically ready to be dropped in, but everything else is put back in. It's ready to go back inside, besides putting on the balancer belt for the alternator and the power steering, and the valve cover of course, and just getting all the sensors hooked back up, but that'll go by pretty quick. I also need to put on the transmission, and yeah, so pretty much as far as I am right now. Of course the car's ready to go. But yeah, I'm trying to look for my accessory belts. I mean, this car's been down for 4 months now. As crazy as that sounds. And it seems like every time I turn around, I can find less and less of my own things. I don't know if you guys have ever had to share a shop with multiple people, but it's extremely, and I'm gonna kind of rant right here, it's extremely stressful and annoying, because you have all your stuff. I know you guys will understand.
You know, when you have your stuff everywhere, it looks chaotic, but you know exactly where everything is. And I know 4 months, oh, that's a long time, but still, it's like there's no care in where all my stuff goes. I have no clue where any of my stuff is. And I could have been done with this thing 2 hours ago, but I'm having to run around, look for bolts when I've had everything concisely where I wanted it. But I digress. So either because I don't think any part stores are open right now, and one of the belts is kind of a special belt because I had to drop the alternator to make room for my exhaust. So